What is going on? Welcome back to the CryptoLabs YouTube channel. My name is Colin, and one of the biggest mistakes that I see in the crypto and DeFi space are investors just taking capital, just taking their money and throwing it randomly into different places in the Web3 world and just hoping and praying that it works out for them. And sometimes it does. Most times it doesn't. And so what we do inside the UIG and inside of the Accelerator program, which is a group coaching program that I run, is I want to help our investors get really clear on, hey, what are the goals you're trying to achieve? And then how can we set up a business, a system here that helps you actually attain those goals? And you'd be surprised. A lot of the times when I ask this question inside the UIG, um, it's interesting to hear the answers that I get. And most of the time, you'd be surprised, most of the time, there is a lack of clarity on what we want to achieve. And it makes it a really difficult ask to have somebody help you achieve goals that you aren't clear on. And so I guess the essence of this episode here is to, instead of deploying more capital and adding more positions and doing more, pause and reflect on, hey, what are you actually trying to achieve? Because more likely than not, you're probably not as clear on what those goals are as you could be. So one thing that we do inside the Accelerator program is, before we start deploying capital and moving things into different areas and borrowing and lending and deploying capital on different dexes and positions, is, hey, let's get clear on what are we actually trying to achieve. And this was pulled from the Accelerator group, where one of the members said, hey, I'm looking to set up my system here, but I don't know where to start. And so I said, okay, well, what are your goals? What are you looking to do? Well, I'd like to earn more Bitcoin and I'd like to do some more cash flow for income. And I said, great, it's a good place to start here. So we're looking to build a long-term holding, a bull run bag, if you will, but more so legacy building, right? We're looking to add more Bitcoin to our wallet and then also have a cash flow machine that can produce income. And so from there, we could break it down a little bit more into, okay, well, what are the targets that we're looking to hit? Now, goals, in my opinion, are a little bit different than targets. Targets are just, in the way I think of it, is targets are just a more specific milestone to help you hit those goals, right? Cash flow for income is a goal. $5,000 per month in DeFi cash flow, that right there is more of a target that we can hit, right? And so I guess what I'm trying to communicate here is that instead of just throwing capital into random places and hoping, let's get really clear on where the destination is so that we can set up our system to get us there. Okay, so in this example here, our member here wanted to earn more Bitcoin and have a cash flow generation machine for income. And so what we started to develop here is, he already had a $30,000 DeFi portfolio that was set up. And I believe it was a little bit more than three positions. I think it was like 4 or 5, but let's just say it was 3 positions to keep it nice and simple. So we have a $30,000 DeFi portfolio that's already rocking and rolling. And one of his goals was to earn more Bitcoin. So I said, okay, well, a way that we can earn more Bitcoin, in this case, it's wrap Bitcoin, but how can we earn more Bitcoin and increase our cash flow machine, is we can lend out wrap Bitcoin, borrow stable coins against it, taking a long position, and then take those stable coins and put those into new DeFi positions that generate rewards. So let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's zoom out a little bit more. So what we could do to simplify this whole thing is, you have a $30,000 DeFi portfolio. You can take the rewards earned in that portfolio and move that into cash flow, right, into fiat, and then into Bitcoin, right? We can stop right there and have a brilliant system. We have a DeFi portfolio that produces rewards that we can swap to Bitcoin, and we can swap into fiat and to pay for expenses, right? But to take this a step further is, well, what if we took the rewards that we earned in these positions here, converted them into wrap Bitcoin, lent them out, and use it as collateral to borrow stable coins to then generate another cash flow machine that then produces rewards that we can move into fiat, right? So now, I guess what I'm trying to communicate here is that there's many ways that you can go about doing this, but we had to get clear on what are the goals that we wanted to achieve, because without these goals, this portfolio is like wishy-washy, right? It's like, well, I'm in these positions, but I don't really know where it's going or what to do with these rewards, et cetera, et cetera. And so as we get clear on the goals, we can reverse engineer the process to make sure we hit them. And so in this specific example, this DeFi portfolio is funding Bitcoin. It's funding a Bitcoin holding, a single asset exposure to Bitcoin. It is wrapped Bitcoin because we're using it on an EVM chain as opposed to native Bitcoin, but that's something else we could talk about. But right, so we're having these DeFi portfolio that's funding our Bitcoin holdings. We're using it as collateral to then build another small DeFi portfolio that can be used to fund our second goal, which is cash flow for income. And in this case, we can have this system set up here that hits both of those goals in an aligned way. And so that's just an example of something that we can do inside of the UIG and the accelerator program to help you hit your goals. And I'll say this one last time because I see it too much and I want you to win, is that I'll ask, hey, what are you working on right now? And one of my biggest pet peeves that I have as a coach is, and I consider myself a coach, I guess, right? Actually, pause right here. I used to be a baseball coach and strength and conditioning coach back in the day. One of my biggest pet peeves was when I was working with an athlete at the time, I would say, hey, Johnny, what are you working on right now? My biggest pet peeve was the answer, a non-answer, or I don't know, I'm just kind of here, just kind of doing it. And it really aggravated me because there's an opportunity to work on a specific skill set. We're here at practice working on something. And so if you're shagging fly balls in the outfield during batting practice and you're kind of going through the motions and floating through the outfield and catching balls and just kind of tossing it into the bucket without actually working on a specific skill set, we're just wasting time and opportunity. And so one of the biggest pet peeves that I get is I don't really know what I'm working on. I don't know. And it's not that I'm upset that they don't know what their plan is. It's I'm upset that they didn't come to me and ask, hey, I don't know what I'm working on at the moment. I don't know what I should be doing. And in fact, to reverse this, I love when members in the UIG come up to me and say, hey, Colin, I don't know what my next steps are. I don't know. I've gone through the education quests 1, 2, and 3. I've set up a few different positions, but I'm just stuck. I don't know what to do next. Right. I like when they're proactive and they come to me with questions for me to help them. But if I come to you and I say, hey, what are you working on right now? What are you working on next? And there's a non-answer, like, shoot, I don't know. It gets me a little aggravated. So one thing that I think you can work on here as you're watching this YouTube video, and especially if you're in the UIG or heck in my accelerator program, is get clear on what your action plan is. Get clear on, hey, what is my next step? What am I working on? What am I learning? What am I implementing? What am I assessing? What am I testing? Right? Have that plan in place so that you can move through a system. You can move through into the next step and keep, getting closer to the goals that you have for yourself. But again, to go back to the beginning of this video here, is that we have to get clear on where we're going to be able to have that path, to have that plan in place to help us get there. And again, I just see it all too much where the goals and the outcomes that we're looking for are very unclear. And that vague goal setting is going to lead to vague and disorganized systems. And so my whole mission on this video is to get you to slow down, stop throwing stuff into random places, and get clear on the outcome, get clear on the destination, and then start to reverse engineer the process to build a system that is in alignment and gets you closer to the goals that you have. So with that being said, make sure you hop back to the UIG, go through the DeFi framework section. That's an amazing section to help you, work through these concepts. And then make sure you're going through the investor challenge. The investor challenge is a step-by-step guide that walks you through quests and points you into different directions inside of our, actually, I'll show you really quick. Let's bring it up. The investor challenge is set up here based on different quests to help you lay the foundation, develop a core skill set to deploy capital into liquidity pools, to set a strategic vision, to help you craft your portfolio. Infinite Game Mastermind's actually coming up next Thursday. Very excited for that call. And then just help you optimize and expand your portfolio and scale your business. So these quests are here to help you on that path to help you execute. So you have a system right here. Just follow the path, execute, implement, and then ask questions as you go. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and get ready for the next episode on this YouTube channel. And with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.